What's going on? Welcome to Kubb Talk. This is episode 12. On this episode, I sat down with Eric Anderson, the director of the US National Kubb Championship in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, to talk about the record-breaking sellout, 144 teams in 38 hours. That's right, 144 teams in 38 hours, completely sold out. There's teams on the wait list, and so we will hear from Eric about this year's Natties. Stick around. This is a good one. Welcome to Kubb Talk, everyone. My name is Kyle Hicks, and I am joined tonight by the one and the only Eric Anderson, the director of USA National Kubb Championship, all the way from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for making some time to talk to me about this year's Natties. Pretty huge success already.
Yeah, man, we opened up on Saturday at 6 in the morning. And I think we had 100 teams by a little after 9, around 9 o'clock. And then we got to last year we got to 128 in 30 hours. This year we got to 128 probably in, I don't know, 8, maybe 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then we filled up with the 144 in 38 hours. So we filled up at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. So have one team on the waiting list already, and just super excited and really appreciate the support from everybody out there. We got to 144 last year after about, I think it was 9 days. And then this year got it in 38 hours. So super excited and super honored that people want to keep coming back. So thanks to everybody. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you guys were, like you said, you were at 100 or over 100 by the time that I even had a chance to register our two teams. I think we registered around 9:15
yeah,
or so.
you're in the low 100s. You're in the low 100s.
Yeah. It all started at 6 a.m. though. That's pretty crazy. How were you? Were you able to see things live on your end as
Oh yeah.
people were registering?
Yep. So right at 6 o'clock when it opened, I hit refresh, and within 30 seconds, I remember there was 22 teams pending. The program we use, it shows you how many teams are registered, how many are available, and then how many of them are pending. So if a team is on there signing up, it says pending. So right away, I think there was 22, and then that number went up into the 30s. So I think by 6:15, 6:20, we had probably 40, 50 teams right off the bat. So there was people waiting to register right at 6 o'clock. So,
Yeah.
but get up early or get up at your normal time and get it done, and then you don't have to worry about it. And then you're in. So that's good.
Yeah.
So
It's like waiting on a Taylor Swift concert, trying to get in that queue to get.
kind of close.
Let's see. The very first U.S. National Kubb tournament was in 2007. You had 35 players and 15 teams.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
how many of those 15 teams are still around? Do you have any idea?
Teams, nobody's still around for teams. We have two players that have played in every tournament. So that's Aaron Elringer here in Eau Claire, and then Ray Hadawanic, my stepdad down in Rockford.
Yeah.
So they both played in every single one of the championships. But I think you have to go back to I don't know, maybe 2009 for teams that are still around. That started then. I think that was maybe Kubit's first year. I think 2009. I think 2010 was maybe Kubsicles. 2009 may have been Tad Kubler too. I think Tad Kubler came in 9 and 10. So those are kind of the team names in teams that are still around from those early years.
Yeah.
But the two players are Aaron and Ray, and then we have I think 2 or 3 people that have played in all of them except for one, and then maybe a handful that have played in all of them except for 2.
Yeah.
So
Um, what's the connection to Aaron? Uh, did you know him? Like, were you friends with him um, somehow early on? Is that how why he's part of
Yeah,
everything? Or
yeah. Well, when we moved here, one of the things I started doing was going to the farmers market and just introducing people to the game. So we had the one Kubb set, right, and I'd go to the farmers market and just set it up and introduce people to the game. And Aaron was working for a co-op at the time downtown, and they had a little stand down there, selling coffee and I think cheese or something. And I remember Cy coming over. Cy must have been, because he's the same age as my oldest daughter, so I think he must have been like 3 years old. I remember he came over and Aaron came over, and I introduced them to the game, and obviously they both fell in love with the game. And 3 years later, he won the championship with his dad. And then the three of them played together for quite some time. And then a couple years ago, Cy won it with on Kaboom Junior. So Aaron was probably one of the first people, probably the first handful of people that we met when we moved here. Probably he was working the co-op and we were shopping there a little bit, and then he came over and played the game. So
I'm pretty sure is he the one that usually wears a kilt whenever he's out there playing and
yeah,
usually
yep,
pulls
for
on
sure,
the
yep.
bicycle?
Yep, and he was on Claire Mini when we went to Sweden in 2014. So played with him there. So yeah, so he's been playing as long as anyone here in Eau Claire.
Yeah.
So a couple other people, but yep.
I remember, I think back in the day when I was trying to figure out Kubb and everything, and I was looking at YouTube videos. It seems like I came across some of his videos as like Kubb Farm or something like that.
Yep. So he started up his own thing with Cood Farm and sold some sets from there and sold some other things. And now he kind of calls the area out there where he lives the Coop Farm. And I don't know if people saw it, but we were posting videos as we reached each like 10, like 20, 30, 40. And he was on there and he was standing out there out in Coop Farm, all ready to go. So on the pitch of dreams, he's got a pitch set up out in the field out there. So he was out there letting people know. I think that was like 70 teams. I think he did it for the 70 team mark. So
Wow.
he's still super active in the game, and his whole family plays. He plays with his dad still all the time. When his dad comes up, Dave lives in Arizona now, but he comes up for the championship. So yeah, they're a big Coop family.
Yeah.
You can say that. Yep.
Dynasty.
Seriously, for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
So 2008, you go from 15 teams to 31 teams. And then you got four different states that year. As I guess the first year was just straight Wisconsin ites. Is that
No, the first year we had Wisconsin, we had Illinois, we had Aaron's brother and his wife Emily. They won it. They were from California.
okay?
Holy guacamoles, so like California. And then we had two teams I think come from Ann Arbor, and they had found our original website, WisconsinCoop.com, that my sister-in-law made. So I think we had probably four states that first year as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Uh, 48 teams and 115 players in 2009. 64 teams and 140 players in 2010.
Yep.
Making some good jumps there. And then 180 players and 84 teams in 2011.
Yep. And that's when we moved out to the soccer park. So the first 2 years we were at different parks, and then the third and the fourth year we are at the same park, and then 2011 we moved out to the soccer park. That was the only place that could hold it at that time. So, and that was the last year. It was minimum of two-person teams. So in 2012 we moved to three-person teams, minimum of three-person teams in 2012. So our team numbers, if I remember right, went down in 2012, but our player numbers
Yeah,
skyrocketed that year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
So,
I had a note of that. It's 262 players um, on 76 teams in 2012, as opposed to 180 players on 84 teams. But then it jumps right back up in 2013 to 88 teams and a total of 310 players. And it looks like it stays 88 teams in 2014, jumps to 108 teams in 2015. Let's see, 2016 through 2019, you guys cap it at 128 teams, and it sells out at 128
Yep.
teams those 3 years in a row. That was the first year I think that we showed up, was 2016. I mean, no, 2019. 2019 was the year that
2019. Yep.
was when we first came up there. Um, had a terrible time, obviously, and never returned.
Never came back.
This will be year 7 for me and Eric. Year 6
Holy
for
cow.
his wife Jenna and my wife Ramona, and then year 4 for a handful of everybody else that's going to be with us. So
Time flies,
it
man.
does. It's crazy. COVID was 2020, so no natties that year. 2021, 122 teams, so didn't bounce back, I guess, as quick after COVID. Do you think that had anything to do with why you
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
didn't hit
Yeah. I mean, still in 2021, people were a little hesitant, rightfully so. We wanted to host it and we did. And we were actually expecting to maybe get like 100 teams. We had no idea what to expect that year. Right. So, but we wanted to host it and, we had heard from some people that they weren't quite ready to come back and play, which we totally understand. So we were, looking back, I remember that very vividly in us and our board thinking, hey, maybe we'll get 100 teams or 90 teams. We didn't really know what to expect that year. But we got what was it, 122? You said, is that
Yeah.
what, 120 or 122?
Yeah,
And we were pretty excited about that. And I think honestly, internally, we thought if we got that many that year, that we would probably get back up to around that 128 number the following year, which I think we did for a couple of years after that. So
2022, 2023, both years 128 sold out both years. And then last year was when you increased it to 144 teams. And Ramona's like, 144, why not 145? 144 seems like a weird number. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, ask him. Did it have to do with the amount of
yep.
playability
So
at the soccer fields?
yep. So it's two things. So we used to have 64 pitches, right? So then we were able to have enough room for 72 pitches. So 72 times 2 is 144. So that's where the 144 comes from. Also, we changed it to some groups are groups of 4 and some groups are groups of 5. So what we wanted to do is we were able to have the 72 Kubb pitches on there, which allows for 144 teams to be playing at the same time, which happens after lunch. So when the playoffs start, everybody's playing at the same time, and we have all 72 pitches full. And so we didn't want anybody to have buys or just sit around if possible. I mean, obviously, if we have like 143 or 142 or 141, people are gonna have buys. But if we can get to that 144, then nobody has buys once the playoffs start. So that's kind of what our goal was at the time, we knew if we moved all like our big white headquarter tent, scoring tent, we moved that south of the sidewalk. So that opened up room for more Kubb pitches there. So that was the reason why we went to 144.
Yeah, and set a world record for the largest 3+ player Kubb tournament.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Is that
Yeah, we did. Everybody that was there was part of that world record. You know what I mean?
yeah
So it was, and I don't know. Hopefully, all the team captains got them
yeah the
and they
magnets?
distributed them. But we sent out those
Yeah,
magnets, around Christmas time or whatever it was, or Thanksgiving. I forgot when it was, but just as a little thank you to everybody, just kind of like a little memento of people can put up on their fridge or put it up at work or something. And we'll have some extra ones at the scoring table when people register this year if they didn't get one for some reason. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We got one on our fridge, and then I took one and put it on my filing cabinet at work. So yeah. Um, and then this year, of course, sells out 144 teams in 38 hours. Um, so what do you think? What's the secret to the success here?
I think it's the outreach. I think it's probably two. I think it's two things, like two or three things. First of all, it's the outreach. So I think out of like traditionally we have about half the teams come from the Chippewa Valley. So I think there's just over 70 teams this year that come from like Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, Altoona. Like everything that's part of our area here. So that's huge. I mean, that's maybe the biggest tournament in the country in itself, just with our local teams, right? So I think it's that continued outreach. It's having the Eau Claire Kubb League, promoting the game and having an opportunity for three different leagues a year and a couple tournaments a year for people to put their toe in there and see if they like it and see type of thing. I think another thing is that I think other clubs, they come here, they travel, they experience it, and then they bring it back and they tell their friends in their clubs, hey, you should make the trip up to Eau Claire. It's a great time. There's so many cool people there that you're going to meet. It's a great group of people. Like everybody says, it's the people, right? That's what people love about the game or the sport. And in addition, I think quite honestly, it's locally, it's people introducing it to friends and introducing people at league, right? So I think of like, I don't know. I think like Drew Brandenburg on Popular Culture. It seems like we have three leagues a year, right? Like the Eau Claire Kubb League, 3 seasons a year. It's like one or two of those seasons each time he like brings a new person, right? So it's like you think of that, and like that person's never gonna play competitive Kubb, probably, maybe even never play. I think some of these people have never played, but he's like, hey, you want to play in league? It's like 7 weeks. There's a tournament at the end. It'll be a good time. It's a great group of people. It's chill. It's laid back. He's super competitive, but he brings new people in, and it's just a great opportunity for people to play the game, right? So I think it's kind of a mix of everything. I think the community here supports it, and I think maybe people feel that as well when they come here. They see that, man, Kubb is really supported locally in Eau Claire, and it's great. Also, I think location, right? It's a great location. Just like hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, depending where you're at in the metro area of the Twin Cities. 3-4 hours from Chicago. There's a growing contingent of people coming from Northern Illinois and Chicago and those clubs there. So
Yeah,
I think it's a mix of everything.
that's cool. Do you foresee the local numbers ever preventing registration from other states and it filling up so quickly with the Chippewa Valley area and affecting registrations from California and Arkansas and Texas and things? Or
Um, Not yet. I mean, I think this year we'll get a good feeling of what's the wait list like. I mean, not everybody's going to sign up for the wait list. We kind of wish last year, the previous years, we wish we knew how many people would have actually signed up if they could have. But I think with 144 and us filling up, when we did, I think this year and next year we'll get a better feeling of pace. And if we have, we've talked internally about if we need to expand a little bit more, and we have a plan for that. If we had to if we have to expand, and where that would be at and how we would do that on the fields. So I think I'd hesitate to think about maybe trying to limit the number of local teams that can play.
yeah,
I think instead we would want to try to find ways to expand it and allow more people to play, if
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
no, totally. Do you have any idea what states have not been represented at Natty's yet?
Mm, I think I don't think we've had anybody from Hawaii or Alaska. I think
Okay,
the deep South, I guess if that's what you call it. I
yeah,
don't know, like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. I'm not sure if we've ever had anybody from one of those states.
yeah.
Um,
Trying to.
maybe like New Hampshire and Vermont, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know if I remember. I mean, I think we've had Maine. I think we've had like Massachusetts and Connecticut and Rhode Island and that.
yeah.
Out
Um,
west, I think we've had almost every state. Maybe not Wyoming. That's probably, we've probably had teams from maybe like 40-ish states, I'm thinking maybe.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I think I counted 22 states this year, and I noticed there were two
Hmm.
teams coming in from Austin, Texas, which is cool. I'm gonna have to try to figure out who they are and link up with them because I like Austin, and Maybe
Yeah.
we could get a southern tournament.
Heck yeah. And they came last year. Great group of people, man. Great group.
Yeah,
So much fun. And they were playing at the end. Like when everybody was done, they were still out there playing, and
yeah,
it was super cool. Yeah. So when a group like that comes for 1 year and they want to come back again, and maybe it's not as many people, or maybe it's different people or whatever, like we take that as a huge compliment that that we up here as a whole community are doing something special that people want to come back for. And I think it says something about us as a whole Kubb community that, they interacted with all these cool, if they came up here and everybody was jerks
right.
that they were playing with and everything,
Yeah,
they wouldn't want to come back. So I think it's a testament to all of us as a whole
yeah,
that it's just a really great, like all, and that's all Kubb tournaments, right? All Kubb tournaments are that way.
yeah. It's both Dakotas this year, South Dakota and North Dakota.
Yeah.
Florida. Let's see. So Florida, North Dakota, Michigan, West Virginia, New Mexico, New York. That was kind of cool seeing on there.
Hmm.
Utah, Texas, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio, Missouri, Kansas, South Dakota, Arizona, Arkansas, North Carolina, Illinois, California, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And Belgium.
Belgium. Kim's coming back.
Yeah,
He has unfinished business.
yeah,
So that's cool. That's cool that they're going to make another run at it. So I was actually just messaging him again today, just saying thanks so much. We really appreciate it. We know. I mean, if people coming from California, New York, wherever, I mean, it's just huge. It's a huge thank you to everybody. But wanted to let Kim know that we really appreciate that he's making the trip back again. So
yeah. What's the furthest country that's been represented at Natty's?
ever. Um, Well, we've had Germany, Belgium, Sweden. We 1 year we had a couple. One of local players here, his wife's from Korea, and I think 1 year she had some friends in town, and they played from South Korea.
Yeah,
And then I think Dave Elringer's brother lives in Thailand, and I think a couple 3 times he planned a trip to come here during the time of the championship and played. So
yeah.
I'm thinking Thailand is a little bit farther than Korea, but one of those two is probably
But
the farthest.
yeah.
Yep.
What's the furthest you've traveled for Cube? I assume Worlds, right?
Yep. So went to the World Championship in 2011 and then 2014. Went there twice. So,
Yeah.
and then in the States, haven't traveled extremely far. Well, I mean, as far as like 5, 6, 7 hour drive, but I think Des Moines might be
Yeah.
the farthest
Haven't
for that. So
haven't made it
back in the day.
haven't made it out to the California Cougars. Um,
Not yet, but that's on my list.
yeah, it's on mine
That's
too.
yeah.
It would be awesome. It's just a matter of like anything else, trying to fit it in the schedule. It's tough to do. Um,
And now out there, like I think in the early years, I think maybe it was kind of, most of the teams from the Midwest would go out there and kind of do really, really well. But I think they're getting a lot better out there. So it's not as easy for a really good team from this part of the country to go out there and maybe win it or whatever. There's a lot of good competition. So
yeah,
plus there's just so much to do out there, right? And it's just super super cool. So
yeah,
and I have a lot of friends that have gone out there and played, and they said the group out there has just been great hosts and helped people out and just done a really good job. So
yeah, yeah. It's
I'd
cool.
love to head out there in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Um, so I guess let me ask this question first. Girls on the Run. How much do you know how much you guys have raised for Girls on the Run over the years?
Um, See, they first started serving food for us in 2008. So that was the first year they started serving food for us. And probably, so this is year 18, so they've been there 16 years so far. So I'd say probably It's got to be, and this doesn't include the money they make from selling food, but just our donations to them is probably, it's got to be over 25, I would guess,
Yeah.
thousand
Yeah.
over the years. And then we also raise money for another organization called We Help War Victims.
Hmm.
We raised money for them for probably 12 of the years, maybe 13 of the
Yeah.
years. And so we raised money for them as well. So yeah, between the two, it's probably 35, 40,000,
Yeah.
I would guess, maybe.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I love getting the Swedish brats from Girls on the Run whenever we go out there. That's always one of the highlights, and it's always fun. I think everybody that's been with us these last 2 years has been multiple times at this point. So now everybody knows of the Swedish brat, and you don't have to try to convince somebody of like, no, you need to try this. Now everybody knows. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna go stand in line
yeah, yeah.
buy like two of these
And
things.
now and now they're out there grilling them right there.
Yeah,
So like that smoke, you can smell it like far away. It's just so
yeah,
it's so good.
yeah,
It's so good.
yeah.
So I think they sold. I forgot how they sold. They sold like hundreds. Like I think 400 or 500 of them. And then this year they had that award for what team ate the most
Oh yeah,
of them. So I don't know. Some team went crazy, like double digits. I don't know, like 20 of them or something. It was crazy.
that's awesome. Um, and then the Steve Anderson Coop program. That's how really I kind of got more involved with Kubb was being a teacher. I applied for that thing, and you guys sent the three sets that I requested, and I've been able to teach a bunch of kids here in Arkansas how to play. How many sets have you sent out total? Do you think since the inception of that program?
Um, I remember adding it up a couple like 3 years ago, and it was over 100 then.
Yeah,
So that's sets, not applicants. I would say we're probably for sure over 120 now.
yeah,
I would guess easily over 120
yeah,
free sets that we've sent out. So and that's been like coast to coast too. I mean, we've done a lot for I think a lot of people hear about it from the Upper Midwest and everything, but we've sent them coast to coast. I remember us sending them to like Tacoma, Washington, and place out in Massachusetts,
yeah,
and obviously down to you guys. And then we've sent them to was it Sri Lanka, Nepal, Kenya, and now that stimulated more interest there, and then they wanted to get some more sets, so they had a little fundraising thing through Kettle Moraine Kubb to get Tony even more Kubb sets
yeah,
for his schools in Kenya, and that's pretty amazing what I was talking to him, I think late last week, and it's just amazing the number of people that he's introducing to the game there now. So yeah, it's kind of we sent him to a couple military bases overseas.
yeah.
I think we got a couple requests for that. So
Cool.
we've sent them. We've never said no.
Right.
So if people want, as long as it's for to grow the game, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
So
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's a pretty equal opportunity game. I mean, I've seen pictures of outreach you guys have been doing in Eau Claire over the years with students in wheelchairs, um,
hmm
throwing the baton, and
right.
it's it's pretty accessible for a huge population of people. So very cool. Um, do you think we'll ever see like unified national level leagues, like kind of what's popping up in like the pickleball world with the MLP and the APA and things like that, to where these more top tier players get a little bit more recognition for their skills, um, but still be playing in like an open tournament to where you have your pros. So you have the guys that have been winning it years over year and year and year, and then but still allow for the scrubs like myself and my friends to still be able to participate.
Right. Um, I don't know. I guess personally, I like to see it more than it is now. Like I think there is a market, I guess, if you will, for that players would want if there's, and I don't know if it's possible to do it nationwide or if it's regional or not. I've given that a lot of thought. And like back in the day, I did that US Team Cup competition. I think, I don't know, it was like the late teens. I did that, and there was some interest, and I think there'd be more interest now. I think things like pickleball, I just think there's so much money behind it, you know, and for Kubb, it's just Kubb sets, right? Like pickleball, I feel like there's so many other things that for sponsors, and it's like it's not just professional players, but it's like professional promotion.
Right.
I mean, nothing against, I mean, I'll say it for me, nothing against us, but it's like we're not professionals at sales and advertising and promoting, and then, you know, sponsorships and everything. I think you really need to find that backing from somebody to do something like what's happening in pickleball. But I do think that looking at how maybe some other countries do their like season wide, season long, you know, cup or season long league or season where you get points, I think there's enough tournaments and there's enough teams. More importantly, there's enough teams that might be interested in that. I don't know what the carrot would be, if there's like a cash prize at the end, or
Yeah.
you know, like I'm not, you know, but I think there's people that would be interested in doing that. We just need to find a way to do that.
Yeah. I like the idea of like a regional thing. Um, I mean, you got the guys in California with the West Coast Championship. You have an East Coast
Hmm.
Championship. Me and my crew need to figure out maybe we can do a Southern Championship, you know,
For sure.
and maybe, you know, the team that wins each one of those championships gets an automatic entry, you know, from somebody to nationals. You know, like okay, well,
Hmm.
we'll cover your registration fee, you know,
Right.
and you know, take it to the big show, and let's see what happens from there.
Hmm.
Regional thing
Hmm.
would be kind of neat.
I do think it'd be kind of cool to have like who's the best team. You know what I mean? I mean, if you win the U.S. championship, I think a lot of people say, okay, you're the top team of the year or something, you know, maybe, or like, or that's the biggest accomplishment, right? I think most people would agree on that. But I think it'd be kind of cool to have a season long format or season long league where it's all teams, you know, not individuals, but teams, and you know, try to acquire those points and see who the top team is for the year.
Yeah,
And you know, maybe for a team like, let's say the team I play on, obviously maybe we're not looking at winning that, but maybe we're like, man, it'd be great to be in the top 10. You know, maybe that would be our goal, is to be a top 10 team in the country or a top 20 team in the country, or so I think there would be, but I think there needs to be, again, maybe some sort of carrot for that, or some sort of prize, or something, and you know that then goes into
yeah,
sponsorships or in that. So which may be out there, maybe, you know, maybe Volvo is looking to put in a ton of money into Kubb. I'm not sure,
yeah,
but that's the tough part.
yeah,
So.
yeah. Um, what can you say about the documentary from the Fireside Production guys? Can you elaborate on that any?
They're working hard.
Yeah,
They're working their asses off. I mean, I think it was pretty much a year ago that I ran into BJ at the Y, right? So we're both members of the Y, and it was a Saturday morning. We were talking, and they just gotten done with their previous film, which they just released that it's going to be on PBS in Wisconsin, which is huge for them, right? So it's going to be on PBS, I think, multiple times. So that's going to be super cool for them. And he was looking at another, number two, and we were talking, and I'm like, well, I'm just saying, you know, like we can, you know, here's some ideas or whatever, and him and Steve talked about it, and they went with it, and so, you know, the whole thought was that they started filming, you know, before the 2024 championship, saw what happened at the 2024 championship, and then going to keep filming and doing things until after after the 2025. So it's kind of be like almost a year and a half look at Kubb. So I don't really know exactly, everything that they're doing, but I do know that they're following. Like right now, they're following closely like four teams in regards to what their performance was in 2024, and then kind of the build up and kind of the off season moving forward. But I know they've been to Kubb League several times, Eau Claire Kubb League several times. I think did they go up to Superior? I think they've been over the Twin Cities, some other tournaments. So they're getting a lot of film from people, or of people. So they're doing a lot of work. They were over Saturday morning when registration opened. So they got over here at like 5:20 in the morning, and they filmed that and asked some questions. So they did show me a little draft promo that they're gonna. Hopefully, I can say this. So it's too late now, but they did show a promo video to me, and yeah, it's fire, man. It's good.
Yeah.
Like I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to introduce people to kind of some of the individuals of the players out there, kind of the things that they're trying to accomplish, the ups and downs of the game. At the same time, showing that the game is for everybody. So super super. And they're not filming it like with my phone. You know what I mean? Like they have like these super duper cameras, and like the video they showed us was just, it was hot, man. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a real movie. So super super excited about that. And I think hopefully they're gonna. Well, it's up to them, right? They're looking. They're gonna do what they do. But I think maybe that little promo or intro thing will be out maybe in the next few weeks. Maybe they said so.
Do you have any idea of the length of what they're trying to get? Are they going for like a full length feature documentary? Or are they going for like a 40-minute short, 20-minute short? Do you have like, I mean, if they're filming for,
Yep.
and if they're filming it for almost or over a year and a half almost, I mean, I feel like they're probably going to be pushing for a more lengthier film.
Yeah. They're gonna. I think the goal is to have it fit on that kind of that PBS, 1 hour slot. So whatever that slot is, if it's like 58 minutes or something like that, I think that's the intended market for them. I'm getting a little bit outside my comfort zone in regards to that, but that's my understanding, and that's what they did with their previous one. They looked at an old tire plant in town, and when that closed, and what that did to the community here in Eau Claire, and that's gotten some great reviews. And again, it's going to be on PBS. So what's really exciting is that their first one is going to be on PBS. So this next one, maybe that's
Yeah.
can get on there too, and it just introduce people to the game, because I think we can all agree, any way that we can introduce people to the game and the people of the game, it's a huge win for Kubb as a whole, here locally, but as well, around the country.
What do you foresee for Natty's down the road? I mean,
Been
what do you see as you approach the 20th anniversary for the tournament and whatnot?
Actually, for year 20, we're already working on that. So not that we're going to put in a good effort for the 18th, and next year's the 19th. But in regards to the 20th, we have some ideas, and those things are going to take maybe over a year to kind of prep and plan for. So really wanting to do some fun and special things in year 20. So we'll see what comes out of that. But obviously we have to host 2018 and 2019 first. But I think kind of try to keep doing what we're doing. Again, we're going to see what the waiting list is like this year, and if there is a demand for a lot more than 144 or not. So that'll help us decide what we want to do next year. But we've actually been meeting a lot. Like we actually met on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday afternoon after registration. Was rolling in. We all met, and I think we all met maybe like a week or two before that, and so we've actually been meeting quite a bit lately. So just super excited to host, and trying to put on the best event that we can. And again, one thing we really want to do is this next year is we want to really we're going to work with Eau Claire Kubb League a little bit more. We work with them a lot, but host some learn to play events in Eau Claire, and I think we'll do those in the dome when the dome is up, where they play winter league at Wagner's in the sand volleyball courts. Then weather's not an issue, and we kind of think sand's a little bit easier for maybe people to learn how to play as well. So maybe host 2 or 3 learn to play events next fall and winter, and try to get even more local interest in the game, because we think there's a lot of people out there that want to learn how to play, that have heard about it, but maybe they haven't had the opportunity to learn how to play. So we want to do that. I think work on Kid Kubb, try to keep Kid Kubb going. We've had some really nice numbers the past couple of years, and so keep that up and maybe focus on that a little bit more as well. We just, a lot of kids keep coming back for that, but really want to focus on that as well. So, just kind of keep doing what we're doing, and focus on that.
Well, you do a great job of it. We all appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into it year after year, and all the nice little personal touches that pop up year after year. One of my favorite things to see every year is that sign there in the middle of all the pitches with all the different cities that are represented,
Mm-hmm.
how far away they are and whatnot.
Right.
That's cool. I love that. That's a great.
That was a fun project we did with Pat. So Pat's our master carpenter, I guess, if you will, for the championship a little bit. And John Ellenson's really good for Kubb League too, but we did that in Pat's garage. So that turned out really cool. So, and then every year we get new or different. It's hard to the north. The north kind of stays the same a little bit because there's not a whole lot of room to the north of Eau Claire. But west and east and south, it's fun to put new ones on there each year for people to see that. So we really appreciate it. So, and thanks for asking to be on the podcast.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
no problem. Well, we'll see you in July.
All right, buddy.
Hey, well, there it was, episode 12. Eric Anderson. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I also hope to see all of you at Natty's this year. Come up, say hello. Let's grab a beer. Let's grab a Swedish brat. Play some Kubb. Till then, see you on the pitch.